The cake is a small one. A single candle. Rael Dorn sets it on the kitchen table himself, lights it himself, and sits down in front of it alone. 71 years old today. The flat is quiet. It has been quiet for 4 years, since Mira passed. But this is a different kind of quiet, the kind that has a shape. The shape of a chair across the table that no one is sitting in. The shape of a door that has not knocked. His son Calder promised to send someone with food. That was 2 weeks ago. Nobody came with food. Nobody came at all. Rael pours himself a cup of tea, looks at the candle, and does not bother to make a wish. Old soldiers don't make wishes. They wait to see what comes next. His phone buzzes on the table. He picks it up. He reads the notification once. He sets it back down. Valdenmere Hunter Guild, official registry notice. License holder, Rael Dorn, license ID, VG0041, Dorn. Assessment, cognitive impairment, level 3, unfit for active registry. Status, revoked, effective immediately. Filed by, Calder Dorn, Administrative Officer, D-Rank Division. Authorized by, Guild Director Harvin Mose. Public Registry Board, posted. He reads it a second time. Not because he is confused, because he wants to be sure he is reading it correctly. He is. His son filed a cognitive impairment claim against him. The guild director signed it. And Nessa Pearl, the D-Rank receptionist who once asked Rael to sign her trainee card, has posted it to the public board where every hunter in Valdenmere can see it. Calder wants the flat. Rael has known this for months. The pension, too, what little of it remains. He did not think his son would move this fast. He did not think his son would move this way. He blows out the candle. Eats the cake. Washes his single plate. 40 years ago, Rael Dorn was the highest-ranked hunter in Valdenmere. Not the flashiest. Not the one on the posters. The one who went into the dungeons nobody else would touch and came back out. 12 sovereign rank clears over a career. For sovereign rank beasts, creatures that flattened entire S-rank teams, taken down by Rael alone, or with a 2-man unit he led. He cleared his last dungeon at age 51 and retired. Not because he had to. Because the war was over and he was tired, and Mira was waiting. Before he retired, he did something the guild never knew about. Something only Mira ever knew. He sealed it. All of it. 41 years of combat, 1,200 dungeons, every skill he had ever used, every kill that had ever hardened his body into something the system called unclassifiable, he compressed it into a dormant state and locked it behind a single condition. He was not sure, back then, that the condition would ever be met. He did not know if he wanted it to be. The condition was simple. If the world ever officially decided he was nothing, not retired, not resting, not forgotten, but formally, publicly, on the record nothing, the seal would break. He puts on his coat. He sits back down. Outside, the city of Valdenmere hums with its usual evening noise. And somewhere above the northern district, the sky makes a sound it has not made in 40 years. A sound like the world tearing. The rift opens at 9:47 p.m. Sovereign rank. The first one above Valdenmere since the year of the 3 gates, which predates most of the current S-rank roster by a decade. The emergency sirens go off. The guild scrambles every available team. 3 S-rank parties assemble at the northern perimeter within 11 minutes, good response time, the dispatchers will say later, reviewing the records. The first wave hits them at 9:59. By 10:06, all 3 S-rank parties are retreating. Not running, retreating is the correct military term, and the guild directors watching the emergency screens use it carefully. The Rift's first wave alone has pushed back 41 hunters in 12 grades of rank. The second wave is visible now at the rift mouth, and it is larger. Director Harvin Mose stands in the guild's emergency operations center and runs the numbers. His face is gray. Every A-rank backup team is still 7 minutes out. The rift will reach critical expansion in 4. He is thinking about what a sovereign rank rift at critical expansion does to the surrounding city blocks when one of the monitor operators says, quietly, "Sir." Someone is walking toward the rift. Mose looks at the screen. A figure in a plain weathered coat is moving through the evacuated northern street at an unhurried pace. Silver white hair. No armor. No visible weapon. Walking the way, a man walks to the corner market. "Who is that?" Mose says. The operator runs the visual through the registry. The system returns a result, and the operator reads it twice and then says, "It's coming back as license ID VG0041 Dorn, sir. But that license was revoked this afternoon." Mo stares at the screen. "Get him back. Get him back right now." The emergency channel crackles. "VG0041, you are in a restricted zone, you need to turn around immediately." Rail turns off his earpiece. He keeps walking. The seal broke when he read the notification. He felt it go, 40 years of compressed everything, unwinding in his chest like a cable under tension finally cut. His hands had not shaken. His breathing had not changed. He had simply sat at his kitchen table for a while and felt himself remember what he was. He remembers now. Every corridor of every dungeon. Every creature he has ever killed. Every technique he built over 4 decades, burned into his muscles, his reflexes, his bones, not skills, exactly, not the kind the system hands you in a card. The kind you earn by surviving things that should have killed you, enough times that surviving becomes the only thing your body knows how to do. Sovereign Echo, active. Archive status, 41 years/1247 dungeons/4 sovereign rank kills/full recall. Classification, above registry, Sovereign Archive, NO rank equivalent. He stops at the rift mouth. The second wave is already moving through, things the size of trucks, moving fast, with too many joints. The retreating hunters are watching from the perimeter. Some of them recognize the old man. Most of them don't. Rail rolls up his sleeves. His arms look like an old man's arms, weathered skin, age spots, the kind of hands you see on someone's grandfather. He stands there for a moment with his eyes closed, and then he steps into the rift. The first creature hits him before he has taken 3 steps inside. A Sovereign-class Maw Drake, the same category of beast that hospitalized the lead S-ranker of the first response team 20 minutes ago. It hits Rail with the full weight of its charge. He sidesteps it the way a man sidesteps a bicycle on a footpath. A half step to the left. His right hand comes up and strikes the Drake on the hinge of its jaw, not hard enough to look impressive, just hard enough to turn its skull 90 degrees relative to its spine. The Drake falls. The second one is smarter. It flanks. He doesn't turn to look. His left elbow finds its throat as it arrives, and his weight drops through the motion, and the creature is on the ground before it knows he touched it. He keeps walking. On the emergency screens at the Guild Operations Center, nobody speaks. The monitor operators are watching an old man in a coat walk through the interior of a sovereign rank rift, and the creatures that tore apart 3 S-rank parties are falling around him the way leaves fall, not dramatically, not with explosions, just one after the next, as if they are losing their balance and cannot seem to recover it. Calder Dorn arrives at the operations center at 10:22, having been called in for the emergency as a D-rank administrator. He sees his father on the monitor. He does not say anything for a long time. Nessa Pearl is already there. She sees the name on the operator's screen, VG0041 Dorn, and her face does something complicated and says nothing useful. Director Mose watches the screen. He has his arms crossed. He has not moved in 14 minutes. Rail reaches the rift core at 10:31. The sovereign rank beast at its center, a crowned revenant, the kind of creature that closes rifts around itself and uses them as hunting grounds, turns to face him. It is 3 stories tall. It has killed 6 S-rank teams in its recorded history. It looks at Rail the way all apex predators look at things smaller than them, with the weight of absolute certainty. Rail looks back at it the way he has looked at every sovereign rank beast he has ever stood in front of. Calmly. Not without respect. But without fear, which is a different thing. He takes 1 step forward. The fight lasts less than 3 minutes. The screens in the operations center show very little of it clearly. The rift interior distorts visual feeds at the core, but the seismic monitors record a sequence of 7 discrete impacts, each one cleaner than the last, and then the rift signature begins to collapse. A collapsing rift signature means the core entity is dead. At 10:34, the rift closes. Rail walks out of the Northern District at 10:41 p.m. His coat has a tear on the left shoulder. His hair is the same silver white. He is not breathing hard. The perimeter is full of people. The retreating S-rank teams, the A-rank backup who arrived too late and spent 12 minutes standing outside the rift mouth watching the readings. Guild staff. Emergency dispatchers. And at the front, because the director has come in person, Harvin Mose, hands behind his back, jaw set, reading something in Rail's face that he does not particularly want to read. Beside him, Calder Dorn. Eyes fixed on the ground. And beside Calder, Nessa Pearl, holding a tablet, because someone has to handle the paperwork and that is what she does. The Guild's automatic registry systems have been trying to classify Rail's biometric signature since the moment the Sovereign Echo activated. The terminal at the operations center has been cycling for 47 minutes. It has not resolved. When the attending system administrator finally overrides the cycle and forces a manual output, the terminal prints 4 lines and stops. Registry scan, manual override output. Subject, Rail Dorn, VG0041, Dorn. Classification attempted, 847 iterations, NO match found. Final output, Sovereign Archive/above registry/NO rank equivalent. The system administrator prints the output and carries it to Director Mose. Mose reads it. He folds it once. He holds it. Rail walks toward the perimeter gate. People step aside. S-rankers who have never met him step aside. The A-rank backup team, still in full armor and carrying weapons they didn't get to use, step aside. It is not because anyone tells them to. It is because something in the way the old man moves makes stepping aside feel like the correct and natural thing to do. Mose clears his throat. Dorn. Rail keeps walking. The revocation, Mose starts again. Rail does not stop. Does not look over. Does not change his pace by a single step. Calder looks up from the ground. His father is 3 meters away. 2. 1. Calder's mouth opens. Something happens in his expression that might be the beginning of a sentence, or the beginning of an apology, or something else entirely. It is hard to tell because Rail walks past him without a glance, without a pause, without the smallest sign that he has registered his son's presence at all. Not in anger. Not dramatically. Simply in the way that a man walks past a chair. Nessa Pearl's tablet chimes. She looks down at it. The Public Guild Registry Board, the same board where she posted the revocation this afternoon, has auto-updated. She did not do this. The system did it, processing the manual override output. Where it previously read, Rail Dorn, VG0041, Dorn, status, revoked. It now reads, Rail Dorn, VG0041, Dorn, status, Sovereign Archive/above registry. Manual classification, NO rank equivalent. Revocation filed this date, system null, insufficient authority TO revoke. She stares at that last line for a long time. Insufficient authority to revoke. The guild didn't erase him. It turned out the guild never had the authority to erase him in the first place. The system has simply corrected the record. At the perimeter gate, the S-rank team leader who retreated first, a man named Gavel, who has held the top active rank in Valdemir for 6 years, is standing with his team. His sword arm is in a field bandage. He watches Rail walk past. He puts his good fist against his chest, the old hunter's salute, the one they stopped teaching 15 years ago because nobody who remembered it was still active. Rail sees it. He nods, once, and keeps walking. He takes the long way home, because the night air is cool and he is in no hurry. He buys a second piece of cake from the bakery on Corin Street. They are still open. The baker is a night owl, has been for 30 years. The baker wraps it without asking questions, because Rail has been coming to this bakery for 30 years, and that is enough. He sits at his kitchen table. He eats the cake. He washes his plate. Outside, the city of Valdemir is very quiet now, in the way that cities go quiet after something large has passed through them and left them unharmed. The kind of quiet that will take a few days to process. On the Public Guild Registry Board, Rail Dorn's profile sits at the top of the active roster. Not because anyone placed it there. Because when the system ran its ranking algorithm, it could not find a rank high enough to put him anywhere else. He makes himself another cup of tea. He goes to bed. Tomorrow, the guild will send someone to discuss next steps. He already knows what he will say. In the calm, patient way he says most things. He will tell them he is retired. They will have to decide what to do with that.